Hey everybody, it's Dan Sfera, www.theclinicaltrialsguru.com. I'm here with my other guru, Don Walters. And today, the reason Don is dressed up so nice, and, I'm dressed up nicer than usual, is because we just had a site initiation visit. But what we're going to talk about is what is a site selection visit, and then what is a site initiation visit. And this post is really aimed at the research clinics out there and the study coordinators, maybe people who are new to research and clinical trials, and they're just starting and they want to learn what these things are. You're going to hear these words a lot: site selection visit, site initiation visit. And for you study participants out there, you may be curious to know how a study gets started before you actually enroll in it. So there's a lot of work that goes on in the background before you actually join a study. So when you are told that there's a study and you're told to wait, please wait, there's a couple more weeks, that we have to do a couple things. This is what we're talking about. So people are not just making up excuses and saying, oh, we got to wait another week before we can screen you. These are the things that are going on. So first of all, site selection visit. Don, you want to kind of talk about what that is?
Well, I mean, it's almost self-explanatory. It's when the actual, whether it's the pharmaceutical company or the CRO working for the pharmaceutical company, select your site as a possible participant in a study. That doesn't mean you have the study, but they're looking at you and whether you can do this. And what happens is when they first contact you, you fill out what's called a feasibility questionnaire. And if they like what they see there, or if they're familiar with your PI's name and familiar with the work that you guys do, I mean, that's always favorable, then they'll contact you for selecting your site for that study. And again, it doesn't mean that you're getting that study. Right now, they're now looking at you as a potential site to conduct that study.
Right, so there, you want to obviously put on you want to make a good first impression, because first impressions matter.
Put your Sunday best on.
That's right. And, first impressions do matter. So when they come to your clinic, first of all, they want to see if you're capable of doing the study. And if they select you and you don't do well, that monitor who selected you is going to look bad, and they're going to question him or her and say, why on earth did you choose that site? So you want to really demonstrate that you know what you're doing, that you're competent, that you have the patient population, and that you guys have all your ducks in a row as far as good clinical practice, all that kind of training, So that's what a site selection visit is. Then what a site initiation visit is, which is what we had today, it's less nerve-wracking because you already have the study. You've already been selected. So now they're just coming in to make sure that you have everything ready to actually start enrolling study participants. So that's what a site initiation means. It means once they leave, you're ready to start screening and enrolling subjects. So for you savvy study participants out there, if you want to impress your research clinics, if you keep hearing them tell you, oh, well, we're going to get started enrolling in a few weeks, you can tell them, have you completed your site initiation visit yet? And you're going to throw them for a loop. They're going to say, wow, this is one educated study participant, and you can tell them that you heard it from theclinicaltrialsguru.com.
That's right. Absolutely.
Right? Anything else you'd like to add, Don?
It's a lot of work that still goes into it. As Dan said, it's not as nerve-wracking because you've pretty much been slated for the study. Now it's just getting all your ducks in a row. I mean, you have to get all your regulatory stuff. You have to make sure you have your source documents to do your ratings and stuff, and do your documentation. You got to make sure that you have all the equipment lined up in order to do it. ECGs, centrifuge.
If the site received the drug, you're going to look at that to see if the drug is on site.
Yep.
Make sure it's stored in the temperature-controlled room with all the logs and everything there.
Which basically what happens at the site initiation visit, they will also, again, do a walkthrough to make sure that you have the adequate equipment to conduct that study. And that everybody's been properly trained in good clinical practice, and that if you any ratings to be done, that whoever's doing the ratings have been trained on those particular ratings or rating scales. So all this stuff has to be done before you can get started.
Right. So for your research clinics out there, in case you are just getting started in clinical trials, now you know the difference between these two visits, what they mean, and what you can expect. And for the study participants out there, if you're calling clinics and they're telling you, once again, we haven't gotten started enrolling yet, you can say, have you completed site selection or site initiation yet? And then they will let you know which one they did. And if they don't know, that means that you're weeks away from being screened.
Yeah, and if they say site selection, you're definitely weeks away.
Weeks away. If they say site initiation has been complete, then it could be 1 week, 2 weeks,
Yeah, or anytime soon.
or even the next day.
Yeah.
So anyways, hope this helps. It's Dan and Don from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Thanks a lot.